Hello and welcome to the Meeple Mentor YouTube channel. I'm Jared and with me is Holly. And we are doing a review today for you for Bonfire, a Stefan Feld game, kind of a point salad-y kind of game like a lot of his games. I really enjoy this game, first of all. I just want to come out and say this is a really cool, really nice production game. It is a Euro game where you have a player board and you've got gnomes around the board. You've got a ship on the main board that you can explore out to different islands and collect bonfire tokens. And then those return to your board on specific bonfire spaces. As an action, you can then try to complete those bonfires if you've qualified, and then send your gnome out to a special council area of the board to get some special benefits and bonuses. And then there's a lot of other actions you can take, some of which include placing tiles onto your board, onto a kind of the center, which is like a grid with a special shape. And as you place tiles, you collect action tokens. Mm-hmm. And if you make connections between, like action icons in those tiles, then you get to collect more action tokens. So essentially throughout the game, you're placing tiles, collecting tokens, spending those tokens to do actions, including moving a bonfire token around in the main bonfire area, and moving your ship and collecting bonfires, completing objectives, scoring points. That's basically Bonfire in a nutshell, but what do we think? Holly?
I love it. I think it's a great game. The components are really nice. The gameplay is nice. I really like that there are so many different options of things to do. Like you were saying with the bonfire, the ship. You get to move a ship around. And I like the trigger of the end game. It's a neat aspect where it's like 7 gnomes out and that's it. Mm-hmm. And then you have the countdown, which is great.
Yeah. I love when you have, like instead of an immediate end, if someone chooses to do something that ends the game, that it's like, you can end now and you can get 5 points if you're ready to go. But if you're not quite ready, because you got a few more things that are going to score you big, you have this countdown where, you have like up to 5 turns that you can still take.
This really benefits me because, I'm like, I'm this strategy forever until it leads to something, so it actually gives me time to lead to something.
Yeah, exactly. So I really enjoy the gameplay here as well with the variety of options that it provides. You can use those tiles whenever you have one or less action tiles at your disposal. So you can't just turn after turn place those polyominoes and keep hoarding a bunch of action tiles. They won't let you do that, which is why you're forced to more strategically align those icons to get bigger turns. Because one of the things you can do is essentially spend more than one of those action tiles for a larger effect. For example, if you pay one of the bonfire tokens, you can rotate the little bonfire 1 space over. If you discard 2, you can do it 2 spaces. And if you discard 3, you can put it and face it any direction, which points at basically different groupings of bonuses that you want to obtain. And basically all the actions have that kind of escalation to them, where the more icons or the more action tiles that you spend for that action, the stronger it is. So you do want to try to, place those tiles effectively to get those big returns for some big turns. The artwork here, you can see from the cover, it's really beautiful. And in fact, this image that you see is found across the whole back of the board. If you flip it completely over, like before or after you've played the game, you can take a look. It's just a beautiful, they didn't have to do that. It could have just been a solid black background, but they're like, you know what? We're really proud of this artwork and it looks great. Let's just put it on the back.
It's really pretty.
But aside from that, the board that you're playing on, the gameplay, it's very clear, but it's also very beautiful, and that's a really good balance in my opinion for a game to have beautiful artwork that that you're looking at throughout the game, but it doesn't take away from the playability of the different areas of the board that are meant to convey player information. What did you feel about how that?
There's something to be said for the design of the board in that they don't have a lot of color clashing. It's all very It's very classy. It's very clean. And you can tell exactly what you need on every space. I struggle with that a lot, with colors bleeding into each other, not being able to see the tiny writing, things like that. But this is a very clear board. It's very nice.
Right. Yeah, and they're color coordinated as well. There's no clashing colors. I think they kind of got the theme of like the night or the caves and the
Maybe a
underwater.
nautical night.
Yeah, it's like if you're looking in a cave where there's water and there's like reflections of water against the walls and that sort of, that ambience. That's sort of what this feels like when you're playing, which is cool. Like you want sort of some of that immersive feeling to a game, especially a Euro where that's not often the case. Games like Trajan that he's done, great gameplay, but I feel like the board is a little bit rough to look at. It's got a lot of sharp edges and it's very like contrasting in color. I felt like with that one, there wasn't a lot of synergy between, the different areas of the board. It's just segmented out.
It's not very aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, yeah, but this is very aesthetically pleasing. So I feel like they really refined a lot of his, style of game into Bonfire. I mean, this is to me one of his best, if not maybe his best, Stefan Feld Euro game. I hesitate to say it's my favorite, but it's definitely up there. So I think Bonfire is really the culmination of a lot of Stefan Feld's, better games into a cohesive and aesthetically pleasing package. So if you're looking for a Euro game, if you're a Feld fan, if you like games where, you've got to go out and collect different things and then achieve different objectives while maintaining a tight look on what you're able to do with your limited amount of time and resources, this is fun. I think it works really well. If you are playing with someone who's analysis paralysis prone and really want to take their time thinking about their turn very in depth, this might also be a little tricky for those players. I've seen some games of this go quite long because there's one or two players that do want to take like a super long time thinking out what the possibilities are, because there are a lot of options here and which way you want to go. But I mean, for Holly and I, we play through it. We do just fine with 90 minutes or less.
Yeah.
It plays pretty well, and I really like it a lot. I'll always get it to the table if someone's willing to play with me.
I always ask to play it, so.
Well, there you go. So I think that's where I stand on Bonfire. This is kind of my review of if you like what I was just saying, I recommend it. Definitely check it out. And if all that sounds good, I mean, insta buy. Really, it's solid.
Yeah, I agree. It's a really good game.
Any final thoughts?
I just love it, man. I love the artwork. I love the play. I love. It's good. It's all good.
Cool. Well, this has been another Meeple Mentor review, and I've been Jared.
I'm Holly.
See you next time.